All right, let's talk about something that's been hyped up for years, AI that can write code. Specifically, the dream that you can just ask your database a question in plain English and boom, you get an answer. It's a huge promise, right? But the reality, especially for big companies, is, well, it's a bit more complicated than that. And to really get why, we need to take a quick trip back in time.
I want you to think back for a second. Back to 2018. Remember when AlphaGo beat the world's best Go player? AI was suddenly everywhere. The buzz was electric. It really felt like the sky was the limit, you know? Like anything was possible. And that's where I want to start, with a story about a developer who got totally swept up in all that excitement. Their experience really sets the stage for everything we're about to unpack.
So, this developer thinks, I'm going to build a chatbot. How hard can it be? But for a simple question like, what's the weather like in Suwon today? They had to manually, literally by hand, pull out keywords like today, Suwon, and weather to feed to an API. And here's the killer. For every single new type of question, they had to create, get this, between 50 and 100 new data sets. Manually. It was this insane, soul-crushing loop of what they called crazy, repetitive work. They finally just asked, when does this ever end? And gave up. It was just too much.
But, you know, that dream, it didn't just die. No way. It morphed into this huge, tantalizing idea we now call text-to-SQL. The pitch was simple, and oh man was it powerful. Anyone, and I mean anyone in the company, could just ask a question in plain English. Things like, which products made us the most money last month? And you'd get an answer instantly. No coding, no waiting for an analyst. A real game changer.
Okay, so here's where we hit the first big speed bump. This Reddit user from the business intelligence world just nails it. They said 80% of their job is translating what people ask for into what they actually need. Because those two things, they're almost never the same. See, a human analyst knows that show me sales really means show me net revenue for active products in the US region, not including returns. That translation, that context, that's where AI really starts to struggle.
And that brings us to, well, the punchline. And it is a punch to the gut. There's this new, really tough benchmark from folks at MIT and AWS called Beaver. It tests AIs on real-world, messy, complicated company databases. And the score for the top large language models, their end-to-end accuracy for getting a complex query right, it's 0. Not 10%, not even 1%. 0. Zilch. Nada. They got every single one wrong.
So what is going on here? How can these super smart AIs fail so badly? Well, when you look at the errors, it starts to make sense. They're joining tables together all wrong, they're messing up basic math, they're forgetting crucial filters, or just plain making up column names. But the biggest reason is a little more subtle. It's what the researchers call implicit assumptions, the unspoken rules of a business. Like, if a manager asks for customer data, a human just knows they mean active customers. The AI? It has no clue.
And if you want to see why this is so hard, just look at these numbers. This chart says it all. The data that AIs train on, this stuff called Spider, is super simple. Less than one table join per question on average. But real company data? The Beaver benchmark shows it needs 4 joins, twice the calculations, and it's twice as complex. The difference is staggering. It's like training for a 100-meter dash and then showing up to run a mountain ultramarathon. You're just not prepared for the terrain.
So this brings us right back to our developer from 2018, doesn't it? If the shiny new AI can't write the code, are we stuck? Do we have to go back to doing that crazy thing all over again? Manually writing every single possible query? It feels like we've made 0 progress.
And the answer is yes. We do have to do that crazy thing. But, and this is the most important part of this whole explainer, this time it's different. That crazy thing isn't a mind-numbing chore anymore. It's a powerful strategy.
What this requires is a total mental shift. The old, flawed way of thinking was the AI is my coder. You know, like some junior dev you can just bark orders at. That doesn't work. The new, strategic way to think is this. The AI is my conductor.
Its job isn't to write the music, it's to lead the orchestra.
So let's really dig into this conductor idea, because it's brilliant. Your data experts, the people who really know your data with all its weird quirks, they are your orchestra. Their job is to create a library of perfectly tuned instruments, which are actually just perfect pre-written SQL queries. Now the AI, the LLM, that's your conductor. A conductor doesn't play the violin, right? No. The conductor's job is to listen to the user's request and then point to the right section of the orchestra to play the right piece of music at exactly the right time.
Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? It's a really clever multi-step process. First, the AI just figures out the general topic. Is this a sales question or a marketing question? Simple. Then it translates names into IDs, like turning Allison Felix into her official athlete ID. And here's the magic trick. Your experts hide all the ugly, complicated code from the AI behind simple views. Finally, you give the AI a little program, some metadata and business rules, so it knows which instrument to call on. The AI isn't writing code in the dark, it's just picking the right tool from a toolbox your experts already built.
And this is where it all comes together. Remember that crazy, repetitive work? Well, it's not a burden anymore. It becomes your secret weapon. It becomes your company's unique, defensible intellectual property. Think about it. Any of your competitors can go buy access to the latest LLM, but can they buy your team's years of hard-won knowledge about your business now encoded in this perfect library of queries? No way.
And that's the ultimate takeaway. That crazy thing you choose to do, that hard work, that becomes your competitive moat, a barrier that no one else can just buy their way across. This isn't about AI replacing your experts, not at all. It's about empowering your experts to build a strategic asset and then using AI as the conductor to unleash its power at scale. So the question I'll leave you with is this: what's the crazy thing in your business that might just be your greatest, most powerful advantage?